Welcome back to PSC's Tech Bytes. Today we keep on talking about how to develop adaptive card extensions with SharePoint Framework. And specifically I want to explain you how you can easily consume the Microsoft Graph using the MS Graph client object that you have in the context of a SharePoint Framework component. So, in order to consume Microsoft Graph, you simply need to create an instance of the MS Graph client object. You need to configure in the package solution.json file the Web API permission requests that you need in order to consume the API that you want to target. And you will have to grant those permission requests using the API access page of the SharePoint Online Admin Center once you will have published the SPFx file of your SharePoint Framework solution. Once you have done that, inside your adaptive card extension logic, you can consume Graph, you can get a list of items like calendar items, email items and stuff like that, and you can bind them to the UI of your card views and quick views. So, like always, let me move to the demo environment and let me show you how to do that in practice. So, this is the adaptive card extension in action inside the workbench of SharePoint Online. And here you can see we have a button on the card view, and by clicking on it we can see a list of events in the current user's calendar rendered through the quick view list that we have right here. How can we implement such kind of solution? Well, this is the adaptive card extension in SharePoint Framework. And as you can see, the state of the AC is based on an event property which is of type array of event, where every single event is an object like this one. So this is the interface for the event. We have a subject, we have a start and end date, we have a flag to say if the meeting is online or not, and we have a web link. And the event time is then made of a date time and of a time zone. We also have a calendar service, which is nothing more than a class implementing an interface and providing an init method and a get top calendar items method. When we init the object, we simply provide an MS Graph client type instance to it. And then in the get top calendar items, we return an array of events, the same we were talking about before. And we simply make, using the Graph client, an API request for Microsoft Graph to get the events for the current user using the version 1.0 of the API and getting these properties back from the get request that we make. And then we make the calendar service globally available as an export in this TypeScript file. So that back in the adaptive card extension, we can import the calendar service globally available type and the event type. And in the onInit method of the adaptive card extension, well, like always, register all of the cards, so the card view and the quick view in this scenario. Then we create an instance of the Graph client using the MS Graph client factor that we have in the context of the SPFx component in which we are. And then we init the calendar service providing the Graph client instance. So that, again, using a set timeout like we did for SharePoint Online to do it asynchronously, we asynchronously, after half second, get the top calendar items through the calendar service, and we set them inside the event property of the state of my component. As such, in the quick view component, we can simply say that the iQuickView data interface will have an event property still of type array of event, the same as before. And then in the data method, we return the iQuickView data object instance, configuring the event property with the collection, with the array of events that we have inside of the state of our adaptive card extensions. So that in the JSON adaptive card template, we can render the title of the adaptive card extension quick view, and then we can render a set of columns for the start and the end date of the meeting and for the subject, and we can bind a container to the $event property of the data object that we provide as the data source to our adaptive card, and as such every single item matching to every single event in the array of events will render the date and time of start and end of the meeting as well as the subject of the meeting. Last but not least, in the config folder, in our package solution.json file, we eventually have to configure the web API permission request. Now, the access to the event is already granted in my scenario, but if not, you will have to configure the web API permission request section, and you will have to declare one item for Microsoft Graph, and you will have to specify the permission scope that you want to have. And you will have to look at the documentation of Microsoft Graph to understand what permission scopes you will need to request. Once you've done that, you create the SPFx file, you upload it in the app catalog, you make it tenant-wide available usually, and then you grant the permissions using the API access page that you have in the SharePoint Online admin page. And that's it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week. And remember, subscribe to this channel. Thank you.